I want to show you guys what OC and I discovered today, because I was like, okay, let's run a makeshift scenario here on our DCA strategy. Okay, everybody in here? Tyler Lyon, he's watching he's lurking. So, all right, cool. So I wanted to see what it would look like if we had started investing on November 8th of 2021 and we stopped, just to see what it would be at March 13th, 2024. If you guys don't remember March 13th, 2024, it's when we first hit our first week in risk band 70, right? Which is a 30% profit taking zone. So check this out. And I'm doing this based on like $25 a week. Okay. Which means that you would have some periods. By the way, real fast caveat. We are now doing a entry from wristband 6 to wristband 7. That's going to be your 1x. So it does go as low as 7x, but we haven't hit that at all in like 2 cycles now. So just so you guys know. But so we invest all the way up from wristband 7 to wristband 1, right? Or wristband 0 to wristband 7, which is a 7x, 6x, 5x, 4x, 3x, 2x, 1x, right? And then you start your 30% profit in wristband 7 to 8, 50% profit 8 to 9, and 20% from 9 to 10. So that's 100% total. 30% the first time, 50% makes 80, another 20% at the last of it. And so if we don't hit that upper band, you still keep 20% exposure in play. But check this out. And I want to bring up a calculator to do the math. We're doing $25 a week for the base DCA. In March, when we hit that level down here where we would do 30% out, what would it be at that point? It would be at $10,800 that you would have invested. You would have done 121 out of 170 weeks for investment. You'd have 0.42 Bitcoin, and you'd be up 294% right now at 42,655. But check this out. So at that point, we have 0.4202, so 0.4202 times 0.30, and that is 12.6. So you would close out 12.6 or 0.126, I mean, of your Bitcoin. The price on Bitcoin at that time was OC. Can you look at the price of Bitcoin on that March 13th time period, please?
Absolutely. Opening this thing. So March 13th.
2024.
Perfect. March 13th.
It was like 72,800 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, almost there. It was oh shit, sorry. I'm on XNC. My bad. It's gonna take me just a little bit doing it now. March 13th, go. 73,300.
73,300. So you would take out $9,240 in profit in March 2024. That is almost your entire entry amount. So you have pretty much, if we had been doing this since last cycle, when we hit this wristband 7, we would be pulling out about 85% of our total money invested. 9,240, 10,800 is what we would have in there. And we would still be running at that point $33,000 still running on the market, and had been out 85% of our profits. So of our initial entry, I mean, by only taking out 30% on wristband 7. So if you think about that, this is now another $9,240 that you can continue to roll in on your DCA timeline here, right? Guys, this has the potential of compounding year over year over year. And when you take out these profits, if you need some of it to use, you can. And if you need it for, whatever, to reinvest, you can just let it sit and earn its APY as USDC does. So I just wanted to show you guys an example of just running one cycle to the first time that we first hit a band. And then you can see here, we go back into investment bands all over again while you took out 85% of everything that you put in originally. So pretty solid compounding reinvestment that you have here. And because you're doing first in, first out on the tax side, that would have been from November 2021 to March 2024. You're looking here, as these cycles hit and cycles, you'd be looking at long-term capital gains versus short-term capital gains because you're doing first in, first out. So the money that is taken out would be the money that you bought initially. So you would get a majority of your money would be long-term capital gains. So now, mind you, if you came into here and you look at this is March, we go back to March 2023, you do have periods here from March all the way in that you would be hitting in that 1 year window. But it's that's why we don't do it all at once, right? We're doing 30% at first hit. The next time that you would hit 70%, you would be free and clear running on free money, just profits. So pretty good compounding long-term investment plan with an infill and an exfill. So an entry, how we dollar cost average, the methodology and the metrics for how much we go in with, and then our metrics for coming out at the wristband 70, wristband 80, and wristband 90% where you got your exit plan now. And now that money can be reinvested over the years ahead. So if you think about it from the perspective of long-term investment here with Bitcoin, really with any of the alts, because if you're an upperclassman, you get access to all of the altcoins that we have in that portfolio there. So, but you have the potential here to severely compound and multiply your investment over and over and over again on Bitcoin. Any comments, questions, thoughts on this?
That's kind of what OC did. He kind of sold in March, Didn't you do that, OC?
Yeah, but he didn't have a solid metric on it, though. Like there was no if this, then this. Now this gives us one. There's rules now. Now there's rules and structure to it. So, but OC, yeah, you can answer if you want.
Yeah, I mean, the something that I was going through with Piper, because when I see this, I was like just looking at it as a reference, right? I do have my own DCA plan, but something that really kind of like humbled me through this exact perspective is that you do have exit points. This is not just DCA until forever and ever. You do have exit points. Piper, I think you have the chart, right? Where you go out and take profits.
Yeah,
there we go.
I just showed that here. That's this area here. Yep.
So you do have areas of taking profits and then reinvesting. So starting over and then investing from zero. So like scratch out, right? So you can have that capitalization for you to do whatever you need to do. That being said, save for the future, get a new, I don't know, house or home down payment, something that greater or better your lifestyle, right? Getting a new car, that's not bettering your lifestyle, just so you know, right? Why? Because those assets do not appreciate over time. There's something delicate about this. Let me just clarify. When you take money out of an investment, make sure that whenever you spend it on something that give you 1, knowledge, 2, life experience, or 3, more money, right? So travel, vacations do count like experience in well-being, right? And then housing, gold or metals, right? Another investment opportunity. Those also apply to it. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, just telling you that this strategy is giving you points of exit to collect gains and start all over again and be able to leverage your gains, right, to wherever the price it is the most valuable pair time of you have saved, right? So just so you know, I think this is a great strategy, and I told Papa, you know what? I'm ditching my current DCA strategy, and I'm starting this week, like doing this strategy for my extra savings. So not my lifetime savings, but for my leverage savings, if you will. So I think that's something very, very important to note and something that really blew my mind.
Yeah, Moho said he would love to collect gains if he had any. Well, that's what the plan is here, man. We're working on setting ourselves up, because I think a lot of people went into the cycle thinking the bottom wasn't in, which we know how to identify the bottom with the MVP oscillator in this group, and we know how to look at the risk levels using the Piper plan here with the into the cryptoverse, and then tying his two separate things, his dollar cost average strategy and his HODL method for getting out, right, at wristband 7, 8, and 9, and combining those two, it's the Piper plan, right? So we have a really set way that we can go, okay, we got the MVP oscillator firing off. I'm also doing my DCA 6X. You could even at those lowest levels there, guys, if you wanted to, even up that, because the MVP oscillator is giving you extra confirmation on it. But the biggest piece is everyone has an idea for how to buy the bottoms, or at least get in the range of the bottoms. And everyone has an idea that, DCA works, but this gives you dynamic DCAing where you can grow, you can engorge the DCA amounts based on the risk, and then a way to get out at wristband 7, 8, and 9. So I just thought it was interesting that just pulling out 30% of the Bitcoin that we accumulated was almost 85% of my initial investment, which just becomes new money to reinvest back in. Over and over and over again, because at that point you would have started dollar cost averaging all the way down through here. Like, let's just go from March 13th to current right now. So we're going to put this on 2024, and we're going to go to March 2013, or March 13th, I mean. March 13th to current. Okay. And there we go. Let's go look at that. From that point, you would have invested $1,875, and you have a 48% gain from there. So you really took out a majority of your profits that were to be made, that you could have left in there if you wanted to. You don't have to pull the 30 out, but if you need to, that's your signal to do so. But you can, at that point, if you had wanted to, because you took out so much profit and you had so much little in there, you only had 15% of your initial amount, you could technically up that and reinvest all of this as we do pullbacks again, right? So you're just looking at those loft levels as you go up. That would be 44 out of 47 weeks, $7,500. It's a majority of the money that you took out, and now you've turned it into an additional $3,000. So overall, these risk levels giving us that 70% out, and then the other levels back in, you're doing really good. What's up, baby otters?
That's Army Piper. You're gonna see him in Vegas. You'll be wearing sunglasses though.
I will be.
I'm learning how to DCA my way to heaven.
That's gonna be the next whole corner.
He's already a whole corner.
He's already a whole corner. Yep. Yeah. I knew it. So questions, BC, Eric Wallen, Melissa, Moho, Crypto Trades, any comments, questions, concerns that you want to ask about this?
What about tax purposes? Like, that's the thing. Obviously, like, capital gains is shit here.
Yeah, well, that's what I said that at the beginning. You were probably golfing during that period about that. You're doing first in, first out. So a majority of, if not all of that 85% would have been long-term capital gains. Now, what you can do is you can, you have your history there. You can go back and look and go, okay, look, if I do 30%, I'm going to cut into about, 5 or 6 of my orders there being in that short-term gain capital tax. I'm only going to do 26% or 25% to cut those later orders out if you needed to. So that's why I said it's really important to journal what your DCA is. Just do a DCA book and go, I did this much on this date, this much on this date, this much. And when you look at that total that you take out, if that total is in that period of time where your tally goes, hey, these last 5 times that I DCA'd in this chunk of money would be short-term capital gains, well, then just cut that piece out and let that stuff ride, because you had a whole month. If I show you here, you had a whole month in that period there where you were still in that 30% range. So you could have technically waited for 3 or 4 weeks and said, okay, well, there's 3 more orders out right after you hit that 12-month mark. So
That makes sense.
yep.
And you check from the halving into when we hit profit level taking, how much time do we have? Because that will probably be another good strategy to look at and see how much time do you have
Of the
maybe to
halving?
maybe triple, yeah, to triple to
What was the
double your
halving date? Was
DCA.
it was April what? What was the halving date?
I think it was the
I'm gonna
20th
look.
or 19th. 19th or
I got it
20th.
right here. I got it right here. It was April 20th, 2024. Shout out to Eric Wallen. He wins the gold star today. All right.
We're not going to
Man,
have to
that
worry
thing's
about
holding,
capital
though.
gains.
Look, that thing's
We're
holding.
not
Yeah,
going to have to worry about
but-
capital gains.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
if you, let's say,
Trump's
if
going
you
to take
take
care of the.
profit, yeah, that's the other part of it. Yeah, if he takes care of it. But let's say if you just triple or double your DCA strategy from like having all the way through for the remaining of the year, that's another way to look at it too. Because
You
then you
guys
want,
think
All right,
Trump will get
April
rid of that?
20th. The question was, do you think Trump will get rid of that? It's a possibility. It really is.
I'm moving to
I think
America,
it's very
baby.
unlikely.
That is not
But
something you
maybe.
should trust them to
Don't
do.
trust
They
them
will
on that.
fuck you,
Exactly,
man.
Buck. Yeah.
I'm coming to America.
All right.
Taking too kindly
So
to
looking
you
at
WAP
this-
Canadians down here, sir.
DCA $25, guys. Set from the halving date to current. You would have bought in 42 out of 42 weeks. Because
Is it weighted, Piper, or
period-
not?
is what?
Is it like weighted, or you're just same amount every time?
No, it's dynamic DCA. So it's based on the risk bands of what the risk levels that Bitcoin's at on the risk chart here. So do you want to see that chart?
That's smart. That's smart. I think I've seen you. You showed me the chart before. Yeah,
Yeah. It's based on these wristband bubbles.
that's cool.
So, yep. So,
Yeah, I didn't have any. I'm lucky. I just went like all balls in at 24,000, like for most of our stuff. So I'm lucky that way. But having something like this going into our next kind of bear market's going to be a definite edge for sure.
yeah, the halving up till now, like the money's not made at the halving. The money is made at way
bear.
before the halving. Way
Yeah.
before the halving.
But like I said, I'm lucky. I don't know where I got the conviction to buy it, 20,000, but I did. Thank God.
Yeah, my average entry on Bitcoin for the longest time was like 21,420. So
Yeah, I'm still sitting at like 23 right now, so it's pretty crazy.
yeah, I was sitting at
I kind of
PF
had.
Chang's with Crux, and I was just grabbing up like tens of thousands of dollars of Bitcoin and
Mine was a
Ethereum. And
fluke,
Crux was sitting there across from me, like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm buying." He goes, "What are you buying?" I said, "Bitcoin and Ethereum, left and right, all of it." He goes, "How
Yeah.
much?" I said, "Well, I just spent like 60K on Ethereum, and I just bought like $150,000 worth of Bitcoin." He was like, "What the hell are you doing?" I was like, "The bottom, dude. This is it. This is the range."
Yeah, man.
And there's
I was the same, but I got lucky. I didn't have any idea what I was doing. I believed in it. I took a chance.
That was same here.
How disappointed have y'all been in ETH?
I'm
oh,
great. I
let's
sold
not get
all my
started.
ETH at 4K, man.
Fuck
Fuck
ETH, man.
ETH.
ETH is just fucking me all year.
Fuck it.
OC, how do you feel about your ETH bag, bro?
Like a kick in the balls, man.
I sold all of it at 4K. Fuck that round trip shit. Eat my shorts.
Oh, yeah, man.
Alex got the nice moves on ETH.
Yeah. Well, I laddered out for tax purposes, so I wasn't gonna round trip it again. So I sold most of it at 4K, and it was like 40 ETH, right? Like it was a lot of ETH. So, I mean, but I laddered out. I'm like, I'm not round tripping this before New Year's. And then it dumped literally just before like December 20th or something. So I got out right at the top, which was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's freaking amazing levels. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys an example. I was just curious, like, look, this thing broke the 70% wristband in March. What would that have looked like? And when I realized it was 85% of my initial investment protected, I was like, this is a no-brainer. We can just keep rolling this, and if we build up a bunch more money, we can just double our DCA amount. So if it's, we were doing 25, then now we're doing 50 every week with the multiplier of the wristband, right? And get that money back exposed again. But I really think that there's a huge opportunity here to just continuously flip profits over and over and over again, cycle after cycle for, forever. Really, this thing's going to work great. So
Piper, I don't know if
Eric
you
Wallen,
have. Yep. Sorry. Piper, I don't know if you have touched on it. But when we were talking about that, you mentioned if you don't, I'm doing the X amount at the time, right? But if you don't have this X amount, what would you be your max amount? And we kind of like said, all right, let's just think about, I don't know, $100, right? So if I just have $100 to invest a month, you mentioned this could be a very good plan because when you are
we're basing it on weekly. We're basing it. Weekly. So
weekly.
Yeah. So if it's $100 weekly, or if you go, I can do 400 a month, right? We'll just go with that. You got to look at this other chart here, and it's days in, what is it? Days in wristbands, I believe. Time in wristbands. Yep, time in wristbands. That's it. If you take a look at this, this is the entire history of Cardano, Bitcoin. There we go. You can see how long it actually spends in each one of these wristbands. Let me put this on percentage. And if you take a look here, wristband 0 to 1, which is the lowest band, it's only been in that range 2.54% of its entire existence of Bitcoin. But when you look here, like wristband 3 to 4, well, wristband 3 to 4 is a, let's see here. This is times 1, 2, 3, 4. That's times 4. So if you're $100 a week, a majority of the time, it's really $400 a week. Do you see what I'm saying? Because this is a multiplier of times 4. So you really need to base your DCA amount on to cover what it's going to be at some of your higher multipliers, right? So if you can only afford $100 a week, I would recommend that you do it like 1/3, $25 to $33 a week is your set amount. And then you put your full amount into, wherever you're holding your USDC because it's making money, right? So that you can then have that extra cash buildup for these times that your wristbands are even bigger, right? So this 3 to 4, where we spent 21.6% of our time, that would be periods of time where you're doing $400, which at $100 because of the 4x leverage, or not leverage, but 4x multiplier. So if you're doing $25, 21% of the time you would be doing $100 DCA. Does that make sense? Because you did 25 per week times the 4 multiplier for this 21.6% of the time. You got other times where 19.27, you're doing 125 a week at $25. So it's important that you think about what you can afford, and then look at this here. And I'm going to go ahead and grab this here and screenshot this to put into the DCA, to pin it in one of the both of the DCA windows for you guys. But this is stuff that you guys need to think about. Okay, well, look, we spend a majority of our time, and I'm going to get the total calculation here in a second, but we spend a majority of our time in these ranges. I need to have enough to pay during those weeks, right? Because if you just say I can afford 100 a week, how are you going to afford 400 or 500 or 600 those other weeks, right? So Crypto Trades, dropping this in the chat here. Can we pin that? And then I'll do the percentage real fast. OC, you got a calculator?
Yeah, but also something that I want to double down, and well, I'll bring up the calculator, and I already have it on. But really quick, something I want to double down in case you missed it. If you're not spending your $100, like for example, this week was just 1x, right? Maybe the next one is gonna be 4x. Well, then whatever you did not spend on this month, if you have extra money, do not go spend it. Put it in the meantime on APY, and then use it to whenever you are in X3, X4, right? So that was it. I got calculator up and running.
All right, so we're looking at this is going to be, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 13.69% of the time. So 13.69.
Got it?
Plus 16.05.
Got it?
Plus 21.64.
Got it?
Plus 19.27.
19.27. Got it.
Yep. And plus 14.73. What's that total?
85.38.
So 85% of the time, you're going to be spending more than your DCA. That's it. That's it. Because this is a 1x. Okay. All of this time here, you're doing 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x. No, I'm sorry. 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x, 6. A majority of the time, you're going to be doing 4 times your DCA amount, which that's why I said if it's $100, you should plan your DCA to be $25. You put all of your money, if you're doing it on Coinbase, they pay 4.5%. If you're doing it on Robinhood, they pay 4.5%. OC's got his on another exchange is paying him like 9%.
Yeah.
So that money will be sitting there making money, and the money that you're not using of your $100 per week is being saved up and making money until you need it for that 21.6% of the time that you're doing a 4x or a 5x or a 6x. You see what I'm saying? Now this 7x down here, guys, this thing's hardly ever hit. It hasn't been hit this entire bear cycle from peak to last year to this cycle hasn't even been touched. Same with the upper band where you take out 20%. So they're paying 9%. They really need that liquidity. Where does the exchange that you get that on, OC?
Oh,
Well,
bullshit.
what was it?
So where's the 9% coming from?
Lend. So Lend is a platform that lends money to bigger players. So that's why they're able to charge as much, and they give you almost the full percentage of what they do. So I think they split it 50-50 or 40-60. So that's why you get that much. And the next platform that you might be having access to with using a VPN, well, kind of, will be Binance. Binance is giving you 10.8%.
What's the minimum buying requirements, OC?
No minimum buy requirements. Binance does have it. So they give you a 6% or 7% annualized. That's it. And if you do not, if you keep it for, I think, 2 weeks, you gain another 2% extra. So that will be 7, 8, 9. And then if you buy or do leverage trading in the month, you get another 1%. And that's how you collect the full 10%.
But my recommendation to those who may not be risk adverse at all, like me, go with Coinbase. It's your safer bet.
Yeah, something that also I want to really note really quickly. Lend or Leden, I don't know how is it pronounced. It's very trustworthy coming from my end, right? This is not a full investigation, but it survived no issue, no problem on the bear market. Did not got involved on 3-hour capital. Did not got involved on any of those things. So I think so far it's a safe bet, but always have a plan B.
Yep.
So is this a crypto lending platform?
Kind of, but they don't lend it to you. They lend it to, for example, 3-hour capitals, just to say, right? But they did not got involved with them. Yeah. And
I just automatically don't trust any crypto lending platforms. It's just
Well,
I've just
Bitcoin's
watched
gonna
it
start
burn
doing
and
it.
fall. Yeah, but that doesn't mean I have to participate.
Right.
I've just watched it.
Yeah, I'm
I've
not
been in
taking any
since
loans out of my
2011.
stuff.
Yeah, I've been in since 2011. I've seen all of the shit happen. So there's just a bunch of shit I don't trust. I would rather go to like a legitimate bank who at least I know they're gonna screw me over on interest and like do it that way. It's like at least I'm only getting fucked with how much I gotta pay, as opposed to it's like, hey, well, all of this just might disappear and I might not get it back for 10 and a half years, depending on who the people are. I mean, FTX keeps saying that they're going to repay people. They said they were going to repay people in January. Now the next day is February 18th that they're supposed to start repaying people. I promise you that shit gets pulled back because they were supposed to start paying people the week of the election, the week that Donald Trump got in.
My reason for trusting Coinbase is real simple. It's literally where the entire nation's biggest entities are putting their Bitcoin. So,
well, and here's the other thing
if they
on
go
the
down,
Coinbase.
the entire economy's crashing, man. Come
Well,
on.
the other part of that, if you're holding it in cash on Coinbase, you're FDIC insured. So, like, what's the loss?
Only for 250K though.
Yeah. Do I look like a man that's gonna have 250K over 250K in Coinbase? If I have 250K, it's in a cold wallet somewhere. I ain't gonna touch it. I'm not leaving 250K on Coinbase. I'm not that trustworthy.
Yeah, it's only fiat, Moho. USDC that's paying the 4.5% is not FDIC insured. USDC is
shit.
not.
Really?
Really?
Nope, dollars. But so
not USD
this is something.
Coins.
This is something I talked about on my show this morning. There is new legislation that's on the floor right now
For stable coins.
for stable coins. So you might start seeing that being FDIC insured because that's part of what they want to add into things. That this is essentially a dollar, so let's back it. So
Yeah,
it's coming.
I think that will happen too. Yeah, I agree, Moho. It will come.
Which
I think that's going to happen. So,
which I think you guys from the States need to be aware of, and this is just my perspective, that CBDCs, we might already have been playing with
it's not
them.
a CBDC.
I know it's not a CBDC, but they could easily become one because they are centralized.
Not with this current administration. This current administration has said we will not have a CBDC. They've been adamant about it, and all the crypto people he's put in charge are all anti-CBDC. So
technically, their fiat dollar is basically a CBDC. Like, I mean, there's like 2%
physical form that I can take out and give to somebody. It becomes untraceable at that point. That's the difference.
Yeah, until they pull like a UK and they're like, we only accept digital dollars here.
I'm not saying that's going to happen.
Get rid of it.
I'm just saying.
Oh, it's going to.
Right. Just open your eyes because a centralized thing, right, could get a hold. I mean, government could get a hold of it. Just saying. Just putting it out there.
So while we're on the topic, what I was trying to go to earlier, my transition, while we're on the topic of stable coins and centralized entities, Eric Wallen, let's talk about Circle and the IPO launch, because I think that's going to be, I think you're spot on. I think that's going to be an amazing move. And you can go ahead and drop your knowledge of what you have on it so far, and I'll see what I can pull up here to touch base and co-op with you.
I just know they're trying. I just know they're trying to IPO this year. I mean, I don't know. I wish I had a date, but I mean, it's going to be a gigantic opportunity, especially if like if the bond, because basically there earns a bunch of money and earns a bunch of money in the bond market. Well, I mean, Circle is that's basically gonna be their earnings, and it's gonna be a huge opportunity. I mean, just because it's gonna be a gigantic company, I'm gonna go big into it. Honestly, I wish I knew exactly when it was gonna IPO, but I mean, I'm gonna hold it through the bear. I mean, it might dip in the bear, but that's when everyone piles into USDC. So I don't know. I'm just gonna keep adding to it even in the bear. That's my plan.
Yeah, for those that aren't tracking, Circle is the maker of USD coin, USDC stablecoin. They're the company that does all that. So they're a US based company, and they're supposed to be going public with an IPO in 2025, supposedly. Right now, estimated valuation $5 billion is their estimated valuation right now for the IPO launch. So when that goes live and they kick that thing off, I think that there's a lot of institutions, federal regulators, and a lot of players within the crypto space that are going to look at Circle for being the infrastructure for all of the stable coin regulation. I really think that USD coin and Circle are going to be the big speculation when they come out. So that IPO, we'll be keeping a close eye on that. Would love to get a piece of the action. Please keep us posted. You got it, man. Yeah. Eric Wallen and I will probably be back and forth once a week. Have you heard anything yet? Because we're both pretty hungry to get on the IPO launch for Circle. I think they're going to be a major player in the crypto regulation space for the federal government and all of the players that are institutions that are adopting it, especially when you look at the banks now getting closer to being able to custody crypto. I think that you're going to see where this is my USDC account, this is my checking account, right? And so Circle's probably going to have a big piece of that too. Circle could become the next big money mover in the entire space because if a bank has USDC and US dollars, how much time does it take for them to move USDC internationally compared to US dollars? It literally just bypasses Ripple. It gives the middle finger to Ripple.
Yes. They can also send it in Dogecoin. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Well, and then that's another thing that I talked about on my show this morning. Stable coins have done more transaction in dollar amounts than Visa and MasterCard this past year.
It's insane.
It's fucking insane.
So, Melissa, I'm sure you are listening in, and I'm sure that you have an interest in this, adding this to your stock portfolio. So we'll make sure you're well aware.
Yeah, I have a question. Is there anything, and maybe I asked this, I don't even know anymore. For stocks, is there any type of service or program, something I could even buy into, that would tell me how to like DCA into some stocks?
No,
That you
I
know of?
wish that Into the Cryptoverse did that, but right now it's really focused on crypto. I mean, I guess you could probably do something with fib channels on it. Let me bring this up just to give you an idea like how that would work. Let me go here, put on my fib channels. I need Bitstamp. Thank you. And there we go. So, nope, that's the wrong one. That's my local fib channel. The big one. I think if you did something like this here, where you could go in and change these lines, because if I click on this, you'll see there's a lot of lines not used. And you could probably do something like this where you're using bands. I would have to look at it, but I'm pretty sure you could do something like this here where you're looking at a stock, right? And you're like, each one of these lines is going to be my wristband. I'll look at it weekly and see where it's at. I mean, there's something that I could probably build in that ballpark. But as far as like risk levels for the DCA multiplier for stock entries, I don't know of anything like that. So
Okay, I was just
yeah, let me play around, see if I can build something for it.
Okay. I was using the monthly weeklies on just the charts, that MTF, whatever, MVP, whatever the hell it is, oscillator to make some entries, but yeah, I need to reconfigure
save
some
this one.
stuff.
I just want to see. I want to see. I bet I can do it here. Let me Staz. Okay, save. There we go. Now let's go in here and let's play with this and see if we could do something with this that's similar. I need to see the risk bands. I'm pretty sure the wristbands. Because if I can pull off something like this for anything, then we can literally start doing whatever. See, the problem is like he's got so many metrics in here where this whole area coming to the downside was, lower wristbands in the 3s and 2s, even though price wise, they would have been way under that. That makes sense. Because he uses a lot of metrics. He looks at price, on chain, and socials for his risk levels. So I don't know how I would be able to pull all that data in. I really don't. But BC Port Corp, yes, I agree. This is a bear market project. We got to figure this out. Is there anything like risk bubbles or anything? Let me go look. I've got a bunch of invite only stuff that he gives, but I don't think he has anything like that.
There's a guy that I follow up in Canada. He's out of Canada. He actually provides information, I guess, to like hedge fund managers and so forth. And he has this program. He has it on like it's like I guess something you put on your as an MT4 platform, and it gives you like the levels on a daily, weekly, monthly, and he does currency pairs, which is kind of interesting to me. Just because there's always something to get into, at least on the currency pairs. If
Yeah, that's
something's
what I've been.
low, something else is high. I mean, and he pretty much he's creating a bot, and he lays out like weekly price, sheets that he tells you, okay, if this happens, then get in here. But I just really haven't jumped into the currency pair stuff, but I want to.
That's what I'm looking at for the bear market. I've already been trying to get more into it heavily. That way I can try to take advantage because there's always something you can do. Like, hey, your market's not doing so hot. Like
Yeah.
maybe everything's selling off here, but you swap over to JPY and you buy the Nikkei. The Nikkei was up like 5% the other day.
Japanese market, for those that don't know.
Yeah, I mean, he does
Oh,
everything.
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty interesting. I'll have to send some stuff that and weekly he does like a video. Like I said, some it's way over my head, but it seems like the currency. He's a big on currencies. He also does stock stuff, but that's his forte.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything that I could duplicate that with because like I said, he's pulling in from different metrics for that valuation of the wristband. So
I mean,
Okay.
like to find the best day to DCA would be the easiest part because you'd just be going off of market closes. So like aggregate that for the week. When's the lowest price? Find your mean on the days. So you could do that pretty easy on stock data. The
Yeah.
hardest part is going to be the risk band levels because he takes in so many metrics. But
Yep.
I mean, it should be.
But the wristband levels are the important piece because they give
Yeah.
you that multiplier so you can really get bang for your buck on your dollar cost averaging. So
Yeah. But like, I mean, we could easily build up the best day to DCA on stocks. It's just going to take time to get the rest of that built up. So
yeah, and then you've also got another thing to figure out in there too, which is earnings windows, which totally throw a wrench in that entire project. So yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be hard that way, Melissa. But I mean, I'm sure as Ben Cowan gets into, continues to grow out this website, I'm pretty sure he is going to get to the point where under TradFi, because the TradFi didn't even used to be in here, and now he's got TradFi in here. I'm sure eventually we'll see something where he starts to put in wristbands on at least the stock market ETFs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
Mag 7 maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey
I
guys,
had
that
sent
thing
you a
that,
message, so just ignore it.
that thing that
you?
TRADEFLY was asking us to work
yeah,
on
you
with
did.
them, that weekly thing he was messing with. I don't understand what the fuck he's saying he wants us to look at.
Who, Ada Ace?
No, TRADEFLY. So he put out that thing on the trading group showing how he was doing like a weekly process of buying in a certain thing and wanted us to go through and use our coins that we play with on a regular basis and see if it works the same way. I've looked at that chart he put out like 4 fucking times. I don't fucking understand what he's doing, bro.
So Asian market, BC, what's the actual time for Asian market opening? Buck, I'll get to your question in a second. I haven't even seen it, so I don't know. You'd have to ask TradeFly on that, honestly.
4 o'clock our
So
time.
Hong Kong, 7:30 my time, or 7 my time. So that's central. So
Central,
what
no.
that's
No. It's 4 o'clock my time, right? But
So
I'm on
the
the Pacific
Tokyo
Coast.
Stock Exchange opens up.
everyone opens up at the same time. It's that 9
Yeah.
a.m.
Right. Yeah. World stock market hours. Is this it?
Yeah. Japan is
The European stock market hours, Asia stock market hours. You see my screen? There you go. Japan, and this is the times for it. So when they talk about the Asia market, they're talking about Japan, which is at 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. No, I'm sorry, 9:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. Okay, is Japan's time period. Hong Kong, Shanghai, India, and South Korea. That is what is included in the Asia stock market. I'll drop this in there for you.
Oh yeah.
But
I had it wrong. It's 6:30 my time because it's almost 8 a.m. there.
here, I'm dropping this link here. This has the breakdowns of what's in each market. Yes. Yes, absolutely. The Asia market is very relevant in crypto, man. Very relevant.
Those little nips like to fucking gamble their ass off.
It's not Japan by itself, but it's definitely the Asia market. India and China. When you go to bed and you're like, everything looks good, and you wake up in the morning and everything went to shit, that's the Asia market. When you went to bed and everything looked like shit, and then all of a sudden you're like, I ain't buying anymore. I'm not DCAing. I'm done. This is going to keep going down. And you wake up in the morning and you had a God candle. That's the Asia market.
You wake up in the morning feeling like Pete Titty.
Moho said, "Oh, I know that Asia wrecks me in my sleep all the time, which is why I'm trying to figure out the correct times." There you go. Well, that's the correct times. There's a full breakdown of the Asian market. So what you can do is go to that chart, go to that list for Asia, and look at the first time in Eastern Standard Time. It's going to be 8 p.m. Okay. And then look at the last time that it closes, South Korea, 2:30 a.m. So 8 p.m. to 2:30 a.m. 6.5 hour window is the Asian market. You're welcome. I got you, bro.
Yeah, there's more money in the crypto space over in the Asia market than there is in the US market, and then there is in
As a
the
whole.
European market. Yes. Yeah, as a whole. Well, that's
But
why they
as a
have so many
nation,
fucking
the United States
exchanges.
is the
Yeah.
largest group. That's
Yes.
why Binance got in so much trouble with CZ when they went and
Mhm.
looked and they said, that's why you did Binance US, because 45.3% of all cryptos in the United States. So, yeah.
Yeah. But like by market cap of volume, by market cap, you have more money in all of the Asias in crypto, which is why they have
Mhm.
so many fucking exchanges. Everyone's trying to dip their toes in.
I'm surprised that like all these crypto exchanges just don't rebrand and then re-enter the American market right now. Like just start a new exchange. What's stopping them? You know,
They don't want to deal with the regulation that it takes to become an exchange in the US.
there isn't any. I mean, that just went out the window. Gary's gone.
You still have to work with the
we
American
have federal
government.
requirements. Yeah, we have a lot of federal requirements. Trust me.
Because like here's the thing, you're going to have to deal with FDIC
You're
if
going to
you're
have to show
handling
your
US
reserves.
dollars.
You're all that. Yep. You're going to have to verify and validate all the time. There's absolutely regulation in our federal banking system. Just because they're trying to deregulate crypto itself does not mean that the exchanges, these institutional entities, don't have a shit ton of holes they got to jump through, hoops they got to jump through for the federal government to give them the blessing.
Yeah, I mean, Coinbase has to meet with the SEC quarterly.
Yep. Yep, for sure. I think that's about all I had today. Does anybody have any other questions? I just wanted to bring up the Circle IPO, and I wanted to talk about the DCA strategy change that I am going to do, that 6 to 7 wristband, and what that would look like taking out those 30% profits, because being 85% out of your initial money that you put in and still sitting on a ton of money that's still running, it is a really nice feeling. That, hey, at this point, by the second time you hit a take profit, you have no more money of yours that you're playing with. It is all house money, and you're just building it and building it and building it. So,
Can you take a look at HG1 for me and give me a thought? Well, I was looking
what
at
is
it
it?
for futures. HG1, copper,
What is it? Copper? Oh,
copper.
oh, yeah, I got that already, I think.
I was just looking at it for the futures markets tomorrow.
I have, no, I don't have it. I thought I did.
I have copper, XCU, and HG1.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pull up
HG1.
HG1. I'll drop my screen. Take it, OC.
Anytime. I check copper on a regular basis. Let me pull my screen up. There we go. So HU1 is, I think, copper futures, right? So basically it's been just pumping
Yeah,
really hard at this point. Yeah, the first thing I will be looking at is for this trend line here and maybe this other trend line there. So basically created a channel, breakout, retest, continuation, TP1 taken. I think we can still go higher, but we're very close to previous highs. Let me dropping here other stuff. We get into a liquidity zone, so in a resistance. So let's see what else I got there. Secondary resistance, right where we are. I don't think that's gonna hold. And on volume, it just seems stable. So I would say that we're gonna have a small retracement at this point. Based on this volume, which is negative, in this volume being positive, which is small, but constant, I would say that this is a breakout retest. So I think we're gonna have a structure like this, maybe getting right here, and then retracing back in here, and maybe entry zone. Maybe you could get a hold of it somewhere around these two areas. So right there at 439. I don't know. That's
and
that's what
that's
I'll
right
be.
around where I was looking. That's kind of what I was hoping for. Was that lower 439?
What's the
Yeah.
volume at right now?
Let me bring it up. Volume at now is 803,000.
Yeah, their 10-day average volume is here. Let me bring up mine. I've got the key stats here from CNBC Pro.
Perfect.
So right now, bring this in. Looking at the 1 year right now, you can see we're at a big spike, but we're crossing, a previous area of resistance here. But if you look at the 10-day average volume, it's running pretty strong overall. And if you look at their returns, 5-day is 3.6%, 1 month 8.92. The 3-month is a little bit down, but that's because of that spike right there, right? So back in January. So if we break that, we're like in the full green on the year to date, 1 year, year to date, 3 month, 1 year and 5 days. So
And was it OC, was that top level you were looking at like $4.62 for
Yeah, the retracing 447, retracing back down to 438, 438, 437. Let me drop that picture in here. Snipping tool, and also I'm gonna be throwing some tags.
I gave you the screen back
Oh,
if
all
you
right,
wanted it.
sure,
Are you trading
Can
copper?
you do me a
You're trading
favor,
copper?
OC?
sure.
Yeah, it's
I was
copper.
just I was just looking at it for the futures market.
But like,
OC, do me a
like Trump could
favor.
release like a tariff. I'm just saying Trump could release a tariff and then it would just like drastically affect copper's price.
That's
Yeah,
true.
this isn't for like a long term anything. This is just like a quick trade because I saw potential.
OC, can
I
you
gotcha.
no share your chart again? I want you to do something for me.
Yep.
Put it on a daily and get rid of your other indicators and just isolate your top chart. Perfect. And then draw me a trend line from that peak on May 20th. Actually, you can go all the way back even more. You can go all the way back to that big peak that's on there.
That's where
draw
I
that
have a trend line drawn
straight
from.
down. Yep. We've broken that. I think if you look,
Yep.
we're right at that level. So
That's what I was looking
Nice.
at. That's what I have drawn out. That's
yep.
why I was looking at copper.
Yeah, copper.
I'm
could
looking
be,
for that
about to do a
retest.
big push again, bro.
Because you're sitting right at the 50% fib line on a retracement. Here, I'll drop my chart in there. Oh, yeah, you dropped the screen share. All right.
Yeah, I was just sitting here looking at the line chart, and I was like, I'm seeing a trend line there.
Yeah, because this is where you just broke that. You just broke it, and
Yep.
you're sitting right at the 50% on a retracement pulled from the lows back here. And that's why I was looking at for potentially seeing that retest that he was talking about down here, which would be like that $4.38. And you have like a nice little move all the way up to $4.62. That
What's that bottom level of
$4.62
support
area.
there?
Like down here or
Yeah,
down here?
No, down there. Yep.
Basically $4.
Dude, as narrow as that margin in there is, that entire zone would be a great area to buy because it's going to break that eventually.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful setup. Good eye, man. Good catch.
Yeah, I just wanted to get some other thoughts on it because I was like, I don't know. It would be because like when you're trading futures, it's super easy. And it's like it's no different than like trading Bitcoin futures. I'm like, okay, well, I don't need massive amounts of money. Here we go. Just drop it in, write it up, and take my profit, and I'm out. So
Yes, sir. All right, folks, that is all the time I got today. Anybody else got any questions before I go? I don't like to leave you guys with questions. Nothing heard.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one, everybody.
Yep, guys, have a good one.
my host type in.
Care.
Yep, I see him. I'll wait for